Do you think that $25,000 of taxable income for you as an individual is a lot of money? If the answer is no, because I think for most people the answer would be no, the government says that's too much. So you pay taxes on your Social Security contributions going into Social Security, and now if you're a single human making over $25,000 of taxable income in retirement, they are now going to tax your Social Security income again because you're making too much. And to a married couples with a combined income of 32,000 or more. So now rephrase the question: if you're married in retirement and you have over $32,000 of taxable income, do you think that's too much? Neither do I, but the government does. And they're going to start taxing your Social Security again if you have over $32,000 of taxable income. So there are strategies that we can implement to try to decrease your taxable income without decreasing your spendable wealth. Good morning, everyone. I apologize. I just realized that the event I set up yesterday for the Retirement Planning Coffee Talk was scheduled for yesterday. It's supposed to be on Thursdays, like right now, January 30th. But I accidentally set the event for yesterday. So anyone who showed up to that event online, I apologize. I wasn't there. So I hope everyone will forgive me and you'll come back next week. They are on Thursdays around 10 a.m. every week. I'll do my best to make sure it's every week to create consistency and value for you. Please do forgive me for yesterday's mix up, and I hope today I can provide a valuable conversation or valuable answer your questions, provide value to you, and if necessary, review valuable articles if there aren't enough questions to fill the half hour we have here. I'm always happy to go more than a half hour if there's enough questions to do so, but if there aren't, I will cap it at about 30 minutes. As a reminder, weekly retirement planning coffee talks are a casual way for me to connect and answer questions, even if you are not a client, at no cost. Join us on Facebook Live or stop by my office to enjoy free coffee. If you'd rather, here at the Friki Plaza. The door is closed, but you are more than welcome to knock and come on in. I just have it closed so that other people around aren't disrupting. If you'd rather not ask questions online or in person during the live session, feel free to message me directly or simply enjoy your coffee at my office and we can chat once the live video wraps up. There's no pressure to work with me or become a client, whether you join in person or online. My mission is to provide my clients with the highest quality advice and service possible. To maintain this level of care, I limit my practice to 100 active clients at a time, as I have fiduciary responsibility to each one of them. While I cap the number of clients I work with, I'm dedicated to serving as many people as possible by sharing valuable information and answering your questions. That's why these coffee talks mean so much to me. I'm looking forward to some great conversations and hope you have a wonderful day either way, even if you don't participate live or if you watch at a later date. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope this video provides you value. Please feel free to comment with questions anytime, now or during the video. I'd much rather answer your questions than read articles that may or may not be relevant to you. There is a link included in the description that includes my phone call, or it's my calendar. If you'd like to schedule a 15-minute phone call to ask questions more privately, if that's something you prefer. And as always, disclaimer, this content is not legal, tax, or investment advice. Always consult a qualified professional regarding your own situation. And since this is a live session, I may occasionally make a mistake, but I'll do my best not to. So with that being said, please drop your comments or questions in the comments section, and I'd love to get started answering them. Understandable if there aren't many that joined today, considering I accidentally scheduled it for yesterday on Facebook Live. Give you guys a moment to come up with questions or thoughts. All right, seeing no questions yet, I will read an article from Yahoo Finance titled "Warren Buffett has advice for people trying to get rich by copying his moves. You can piggyback, but you cannot buy the whole business." All right, and this article is written by Jeanine Mancini. I know I butchered that name, but please forgive me. Here's the article. She says, "There's no shortage of headlines about people mimicking Warren Buffett's portfolio and striking gold. The idea seems simple enough. Buffett buys Apple, you buy Apple. He sells a bank stock, you do the same. Why not ride the coattails of one of the richest, most successful investors in the world? On a smaller scale, it might even make sense. After all, it worked for him. Why wouldn't it work for you?" But Buffett himself has weighed in on this strategy, and the answer might surprise you. During the 2009 Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting, a shareholder asked a bold question: why shouldn't investors just sell their Berkshire Hathaway shares and directly copy his moves? In terms of buying what we're buying, others cannot buy with free float. Although they may take tax advantage we don't have, Buffett explained, referencing the unique advantages Berkshire Hathaway enjoys due to its structure. We don't quarrel with those who buy what we buy. You can piggyback, but you can't buy the whole business. We do. His longtime business partner Charlie Munger added, "It's generally quite smart to copy very successful investors." Buffett himself admitted, "I did the same thing when I was young." But does that mean replicating Buffett's investments is a foolproof way to build wealth? Wealth? Not exactly. The pitfall of copycat investing. While Buffett doesn't outright dismiss the idea, he clarifies that mimicking his portfolio isn't a perfect strategy. One key reason is scale. Berkshire Hathaway doesn't just buy shares, it often buys entire businesses. This gives the company leverage, operational control, and economies of scale that an individual investor cannot replicate, unless you're a billionaire. Buffett's moves are often tied to advantages unique to Berkshire, such as the free float from its insurance businesses. This allows the company to invest without the same financial constraints an individual might face. Another factor is timing. By the time Buffett's trades become public, market conditions may have shifted. You're often playing catch up, which means you might not reap the same benefits from the investments he makes. And I think that's an extremely important point and this is why I don't even try to time the market, and I do not try to copy Warren Buffett or any other investor. We simply believe in proper financial saving strategies and habits will have a better chance of getting you to where you want to be than trying to time the market or guess what's going to happen. And the big reason is what they just highlighted here. By the time we read something in the news or by the time we see what Warren Buffett's done, the market has adjusted, right? So if Warren Buffett buys a company at this price, let's say $100 per share, by the time we hear about it, it's now might be worth $120 per share. So we're not getting the same value or the same outcome that he did. And it's the same thing when it comes to the financial news. By the time you've heard something on the news, whether it's on TV, radio, podcast, the market has already adjusted because people like Warren Buffett probably knew before the news did, right? So trying to react to what we hear and see rather than just having a long-term plan, in my opinion, can get you in a lot of can get you in, I wouldn't say trouble, but it's not going to get you the same results they're getting. And we see this often with large companies. We'll use any of them that you want, but basically what I'm trying to say is historically speaking, the companies that like blow up really quick and they become really big really fast, like Apple at one point in time and Facebook and things like that, once they become a top 5 largest company in the market, the next 5 years after that, they often underperform the rest of the S&P 500 because now everyone's heard of it and everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. So reacting to what's already happened is rarely a good investment strategy. So continuing on with the article, what about the upside? Still, there's merit to learning from Buffett's choices. As Munger pointed out, copying successful investors is generally quite smart. Buffett studied his mentor Benjamin Graham and learned from the other great investors during his early years. Analyzing Buffett's portfolio can provide insights into how he evaluates companies and what he considers a good value. However, blindly following his trades is not the same as understanding his strategy. Buffett's approach is deeply rooted in fundamental analysis, long-term thinking, and an ability to evaluate businesses, not just stocks. Without that underlying knowledge, copying his moves could be risky. Observing and learning from his decisions can offer valuable lessons, but the most important takeaway might be to develop your own investing philosophy. Like I said, our investing philosophy is the belief that building a well-diversified worldwide portfolio that fits our clients' needs and financial goals is the way to go, and then focusing on the proper habits rather than trying to guess and time the market. Buffett and the late Munger, and we adjust as our clients' lives adjust, right? Rather than adjusting to external or outside events. Buffett and the late Munger would likely agree for those aspiring to follow in his footsteps. Don't just imitate, educate. That's the true key to long-term success. And I think that's a really big one there. I'm a big believer that 90% of the work we do has nothing to do with the actual investing. And it has everything to do with proper human habits and educating our clients on what their options are and what they should do, not trying to beat the market, right? So it's all about educating ourselves and constantly learning ourselves so that we can constantly improve our ability to help our clients, and then educating them on what their options are and what they could or should be doing to help them achieve their financial goals. Back to the article, Buffett and the late Munger would likely agree for those aspiring to follow in his footsteps, don't just imitate, educate. I think that's important, so I repeated it. Actually, that was an accident, but we won't tell anyone, right? That's the true key to long term success. And if you need a little extra help building your investment strategy, consider consulting a financial advisor. They can guide you in making informed decisions tailored to your financial goals and risk tolerance. After all, the best investment approach is one that works for you. All right, so hopefully that provides value. I'm curious what questions or thoughts you guys have on that article. Again, that was titled Warren Buffett Has Advice for People Trying to Get Rich. By copying his moves, you can piggyback, but you can't buy the whole business. I'll put that in the comments section if you'd like to read it at a later date. And when I record and post this later, it will also be included in the article's reference portion of the post. So if you want to read that article, you certainly can. I'll take a moment to give you a chance to ask any questions that you have or comments, and then I will jump into another article if I don't get any questions. All right, seeing no questions, I'm going to jump into another article here. It's written by Morningstar.com, Amy Arnott, CFA, and the title of the article is Should You Turbocharge Your Retirement Savings? Retirement savers between the ages of 60 and 63 now have an additional option for catching up. Since 2002, retirement savers who are age 50 or older have been able to contribute additional amounts to retirement plans, such as 401ks, 403bs, and 457bs. For 2025, employees under the age of 50 can contribute up to $23,500 per year to these types of tax-deferred retirement plans, up from $23,000 in 2024. Participants who are age 50 or older can contribute an additional $7,500 per year in catch-up contributions, raising the total contribution limit, not including in employer contributions, to $31,000 per year. These higher limits can help savers make significant progress towards shoring up retirement savings. Thanks to a provision included in the Secure 2.0 legislation, retirement savers between the ages of 60 and 63 can contribute a bit more with super catch-up contributions starting in 2025. For people in that age range, the annual catch-up contribution limit is now $11,250, up from $7,500. That means people can save a little extra over a 4-year period, provided that their specific retirement plan offers both catch-up and super catch-up contributions. It sounds good in theory, but how does it work in practice? In this article, she'll run some numbers to see how much of a difference turbocharging retirement savings after age 60 can make. Running the numbers. In the examples below, I'll start with a hypothetical investor at age 50 with a $70,000 annual salary with earnings increasing by 2% per year. I've also assumed starting retirement savings of $60,000 in line with the median 401k balance for investors between 45 and 54 based on Vanguard's How America Saves report, and estimated returns of 6% per year. Note, the numbers below do not include any potential employer contributions, which would help shore up the totals. Nor did she assume any increase in the annual contribution limits for inflation, which would also make things look better. Case 1. And again, I know there's a ton of numbers coming at you here, so please reach out if you have questions or would like to dive more into this. The point is to try to get high-level value out of this, not necessarily understand every little number. So, case number 1, 10% annual savings rate. The first series of data assumes an investor who is able to save 10% of their salary starting at age 50, the orange bars in the graph below, which you can't see, the estimated portfolio value after the worker maintains the same savings rate year after year. The numbers assume the employee saves 10% of salary up until age 60, then ramps up annual savings to $34,750 from age 60 to 63, and then continues to max out savings by contributing $31,000 per year for the last 4 years until retiring age 67, which is, I'm assuming they use that number because it's the full retirement age for Social Security. Even after diligently chipping in 10% a year, the consistent saver, shown in the orange bars below, would end up with a pretty sparsely twisted twig nest egg. The estimated portfolio balance would be about $416,000, which is less than half of what they might need, roughly $980,000, based on a target level, which I think is reasonable after testing some data of about 10 times one's final salary and retirement savings. Things look better with the savings boost. The estimated ending balance would be about $688,000, which is still lower. So basically, just breaking down all this mumbo jumbo that she's using here. If this person making $70,000 a year just saves 10% a year from age 50 to 67, starting at $60,000 as the baseline, they will end up with about $416,000 at age 67 in retirement. Now, if they turbocharge from age 60 to 67, that 416 will actually grow to 688. So it does make a decent impact. Now, I have to remind you, money saved today is far more value than money saved tomorrow because of the long-term compounding effect. So it would even be better if this person could turbocharge in a non-qualified account or in some other way earlier rather than later in life. But I understand that as life goes on, sometimes our expenses decrease due to kids moving out and things like that. So case number 2, I'm going to skip a lot of the numbers here. I'm just going to tell you the outcome. Case number 2 is saving 15% of annual savings. If they save 15% instead of 10%, and again, I'll include the link if you want to read through this yourself, this person would save or would end up with, where's the number? Oh. This person would end up with about $550,000 if they didn't turbocharge, and if they did turbocharge, they would end up with like $780,000. I'm rounding those numbers because she didn't actually give them; they're just in the chart, which is kind of hard to read. Case number 3: if you max out savings at $31,000 per year starting at age 50, now the balance would be about $1.1 million at age 67. So that's obviously a lot better. So conclusion: long story short, she kind of points this out as the obvious. The more you save, the better. If you turbocharge, great. If you feel like you're falling behind, you have options starting at age 60 to even save more. But the most important thing to understand is the earlier you save, the better because of how compounding works. The last dollar you save will be far less impactful than the first dollar you save. And so that's my conclusion. Her conclusion is, as a general guideline, the projections above illustrate the benefits of starting early, as well as the potential boost from more generous contribution limits. Retirement savers who are running behind can make significant progress towards narrowing the gap by maxing out savings starting age 50. Taking advantage of the new super catch-up contributions over a 4-year period won't make a huge difference in and of itself, but it's probably a good idea for investors who can afford it. Something also to really remember here is the government keeps making it easier and easier to save into these tax-deferred accounts. However, they made it a lot less beneficial to leave behind tax-deferred wealth. Because when you leave behind tax-deferred wealth and it goes to an inherited IRA, your inheritors, or your kids, or whoever they might be, only have 10 years to spend that money. Whereas before, they used to have their whole lifetime. So it's going to make a significant impact on their tax life. So just be aware of that. It's something to plan around. Some of my clients don't want to leave a tax burden to their kids. So we look at Roth conversions, or we save in other ways than tax-deferred accounts. It's a case-by-case basis. So overall, I think that was a little bit too much numbers, but hopefully it provided you value. Please comment with questions or concerns regarding that topic, and I will put it in the comments section in case you'd like to check it out and read through it yourself. It'd probably be easier to understand if you're a numbers person to read it yourself, but hopefully if just the big picture was helpful in understanding the earlier you save, the better, is basically what they're saying there. And if you need to catch up, you have options starting at age 60. All right. Seeing no questions, I'm going to pull up another article here, and this might be the last one of the day. And I think this one will definitely be valuable for people who are trying to do some retirement tax planning. It is written by yahoofinance.com, and this will also be valuable for a few people I know have had comment on my YouTube videos that don't quite understand how double taxation on Social Security works or claim it's not a thing. It is a thing. What you call it's up to you. But if you make too much money in retirement, taxable income in retirement, the government does tax your Social Security again. Just the way it works. So I'm assuming this article is going to cover this. It's written by Maury Backman, and it's titled Double Taxation, Older Americans Increasingly Feeling Bruised as Uncle Sam Claws Back Their Social Security Benefits. So here's the article. It says, Social Security is a lifeline for millions of older Americans, and as of November 2024, the average retired worker was collecting $1,925.46 per month in Social Security benefits. But as Social Security benefits rise from year to year due to cost of living adjustments known as COLAs, more and more seniors risk getting hurt by a tax rule that was established decades ago. In fact, the Nonpartisan Senior Citizens League has previously blasted the rule as a form of double taxation, and it's clear that many older Americans and senior advocates alike think a major change is in order. Stealth taxes show up on Social Security benefits. Social Security's primary source of funding is payroll tax revenue. Each year, a wage gap is established that dictates how much income is taxed per worker for Social Security purposes. In 2025, that amount is $176,100. The reason some seniors feel they're being double taxed is that they not only have to pay into Social Security during their working years, but are also then subject to taxes on their benefits during retirement. And worse yet, advocates argue that the thresholds at which taxes apply to Social Security benefits are almost ridiculously low, and I would agree. Most states do not impose tax on Social Security benefits, but at the federal level, taxes on benefits apply to singles with a combined income of $25,000 or more. So let's highlight that. Do you think that $25,000 of taxable income for you as an individual is a lot of money? If the answer is no, because I think for most people the answer would be no, the government says that's too much. So you pay taxes on your Social Security contributions going into Social Security, and now if you're a single human making over $25,000 of taxable income in retirement, they are now going to tax your Social Security income again because you're making too much. And to a married couples with a combined income of $32,000 or more. So now rephrase the question. If you're married in retirement and you have over $32,000 of taxable income, do you think that's too much? Neither do I, but the government does. And they're going to start taxing your Social Security again if you have over $32,000 of taxable income. So there are strategies that we can implement to try to decrease your taxable income without decreasing your spendable wealth. So you could keep, what I'm saying there is, there are strategies you can use. So rather than having, let's say, $10,000 a month of taxable income, maybe we have $10,000 of non-taxable income, or half and half or something, which significantly decreases your Social Security taxes. And oh, by the way, your Medicare costs are also determined by your taxable income. So there are strategies to try to limit those two things. Combined income is calculated as adjusted gross income plus tax-exempt interest income, such as municipal bond interest, plus 50% of a recipient's annual Social Security benefit. So it's kind of a confusing thing, but the point is, if you have over $32,000 of taxable income, a taxable adjusted gross income, the government will tax some of your Social Security again. As an example, if Joe is single with an AGI, adjusted gross income, of $15,000 and no tax-exempt interest income, but he receives $1,925 per month from Social Security, his combined income is $26,550. This means Joe will face taxes on a portion of his Social Security benefits. His total income is only $26,550, and he's going to have to pay some taxes on his Social Security benefits. Meanwhile, because Social Security benefits are eligible for an annual COLA, cost of living increase, those increases inevitably push more seniors over the combined income limits at which taxes on benefits apply. So even if your Social Security goes up 3%, your taxes might go up too, so you're not even getting to spend that full 3% increase. And the reason is that while Social Security benefits adjust annually for inflation, the combined income limits do not. I don't think they've updated since they were implemented. So, in fact, they're about to say this, the combined income limits have not been adjusted for inflation since 1984. Back then, it was estimated that 10% of Social Security recipients would be liable for taxes on their benefits. Today, the Social Security Administration reports that about 40% of beneficiaries pay federal taxes on that income. Let's put that in perspective. So, if you're a single person making $25,000, which is the level that they don't tax anything over that they will start taxing a portion of your Social Security. Back in 1984, if we assume 3% of inflation each year, keep in mind 2 years ago, like 2024 and stuff, it was 8%. If we assume 3% inflation, so it's 2025, 25 plus 16 is 41 years. That would be the equivalent, $25,000 back in 1984 would be the equivalent of making $84,000 this year, I'm rounding. That's a massive difference, and yet they haven't changed the threshold. So now, as it points out, Back then, only 10% of people were paying a double tax on their Social Security. Now, about 40% of people are. And it's going to keep getting worse if they don't change that threshold. The Senior Citizens League also says that had the combined income limits been adjusted the same way tax brackets are every year, as of 2023, the $25,000 level for singles. Oh, they're doing the math I just did. So their math's a little different. They must use a different assumed inflation, but that's okay. The point is, the 25,000 level for singles would have been $73,000 in 2023. Well, so I did 2 more years, so that's why it's different. And the $32,000 level for married couples in 1984 would have been $93,000 in 2023. That's a massive difference. That's 3 times difference. And yet they haven't changed the threshold. No wonder why 4 times more people are having to pay double Social Security taxes. In a 2023 survey it conducted, 58% of respondents said they felt the combined income levels need to be adjusted accordingly. Making matters worse on the tax front is that in recent years, rampant inflation has led to higher than average Social Security increases. In 2022, benefits were eligible for a 5.9% COLA, followed by an 8.7% COLA or cost of living increase in 2023. So I assumed 3% inflation each year. In 2022, it was almost 6%, and in 2023, it was almost 9% in inflation. This has led to an uptick in seniors who are paying taxes on their monthly benefits. So that alone is alarming, right? That's concerning if Social Security is a big part of your retirement planning. And that is why it's so important that you include tax planning with your retirement fund. It's important that you understand how taxes will affect your retirement planning. And if you don't understand it, please find someone you trust to work with you to help you through that. And I'd be more than happy to if you want to reach out. Otherwise, if you have someone you already trust, work with them. As long as you work with a good person that cares about you, we're all on the same team as far as I'm concerned. So, how to avoid federal taxes on Social Security benefits? If you're a higher earner, paying taxes on Social Security may be inevitable. In 2025, the program's maximum monthly benefit at full retirement age is $4,018 per month. On an annual basis, half that sum is about $24,100. This means that a single tax filer eligible for that maximum benefit would need to keep their remaining income to under $1,000 to avoid having their Social Security being taxed. While that may be difficult, it's not impossible. One option is to avoid investments that count toward provisional income and also house retirement savings in a Roth IRA or 401k. Because Roth withdrawals aren't taxable, they don't count as provisional income. There's also options like Roth conversions and things like that. Additionally, Roth accounts do not impose required minimum distributions like traditional IRAs and 401ks do. RMDs, required minimum distributions, not only create an automatic tax burden, but also add provisional income even when those distributions are not wanted. Now, it's worth noting that President-elect Trump has pledged to do away with taxes on Social Security benefits. A change like that would clearly let many seniors off the hook, but it hasn't happened yet. And let's be honest, we've seen, whether you like them or hate them, pretty much every president says they're going to do things that they don't end up getting done. They can't get everything done they say they're going to do, or they don't try. We'll see. But we'll see. But so I'm not ripping President Trump, to be clear. I'm not for or against that. I just want to point out, just because he says he's going to, it may not happen. So let's not assume anything in the future. Guess what's going to happen? But Social Security, as a program, also relies on those taxes to stay afloat. As it is, the program's trustees estimate that Social Security's combined trust fund reserves are set to be depleted by 2035, which is only 10 years, at which point benefit cuts may be unavoidable. Eliminating taxes on Social Security benefits might help seniors in one regard, but if it leads to a broad reduction in benefits and speeds up the timeline for that happening, then it may not do retirees much good in the long run. All right, so that is by far the most valuable article I read today, in my opinion. But I think hopefully all three are helpful. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please put them in the comment section now. I will put this article in the comment section as well if you'd like to check it out yourself. Okay, so I'm not seeing any comments or questions. So again, it's my fault that the live event was scheduled for yesterday, even though it was supposed to be today. I apologize for anyone who showed up, and I didn't. I wasn't trying to blow you off. It's just an error on my end. I hope a lot of people are able to watch this on delay. I will post it on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Nextdoor, Alignable, both as a clip, which is about 60 seconds, as well as the full video, which is going to be about 30 minutes. Please comment with questions or concerns. Please share it on your social media page to help me provide more value to more people. or privately to someone you know that you think would be interested in this topic. And at the very least, please click the like button to help me reach more people, because unfortunately, if no one likes it, Facebook just kind of throws it away and no one sees it. And I'd really like to provide as much value to as many good people as I possibly can. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch or listen to this conversation. And thank you for the time. And also thank you twice if you're willing to share, comment, and or like it as well. So thank you so much for your time. Have a great day. And I hope you enjoy your weekend starting tomorrow. Bye.